Hello, students, and welcome to week 6 of Congregational Renewal and Dynamics of Change. As we begin week 6, we kind of begin the last 3 weeks of this class. Kind of changes a little bit as far as what our focus is. This week you'll have two readings back to the Made to Flourish. And really in the Made to Flourish, the last chapters, the nuts and bolts of structure, the future of flourishing, innovative and entrepreneurial ministry, and then flourishing. How do you make it a daily reality? And then she talks a little bit about flourishing organizations. This, again, to me, as I've highlighted before all my marks on the book, it's been kind of a highlight guiding tool for me as a leader. And then one of my favorite resources, and that's managing transitions. Part of my job before I took this particular role as Director of Leader Health was to help manage church transitions. And it's interesting how much I learned from reading this and then watching transitions and the emotional side of transitions. And what Bridges, by the way, husband and wife team, William and Susan Bridges, what they assert in this resource is that change really isn't the problem. Change is as normal as anything. All of us go through change. We live in a world that's changing rapidly. And it changes so fast we can't keep up with it. So change isn't the issue. It's transition that's the issue. And transition is the emotional side of change. And when it's funny, I've heard people say, we want change. But then when the change affects you, you don't want change. Or you want to slow down with change. Now, wait a minute. I didn't know it would cost me this to bring about change. Well, with change, there's costs. There's unintended consequences, both positive and negative. And so, but it's emotional. And so I really believe that this tool can really help you in thinking through change. Listen, whether change is big in your eyes or small really doesn't matter how your eyes views it. It matters how your followers view it. And again, as I said at the beginning of this class, we are spiritual people. We follow Jesus. Jesus was a shepherd and not a cowboy. He cared about people, and he cared about what they were going through, and so this really does talk about the ending and letting go process. Change affects us all differently, but here's what I know about change. In change, there are winners and there are losers with every change. For instance, you decide this week your church time that you assemble on Sunday morning is at 10 o'clock, and you decide to move it to 10:30 or 9:30. Or you decide to put your Wednesday night to Thursday night. Well, that seems so insignificant to the people who are going about the change. But to the people who have to live in the change, for some, it's loss. Wait a minute, you just changed it to 10:30, the meeting time on Sunday morning, so I have to work at noon every Sunday. So that's going to rush me. Or I work third shift on Saturday nights. Or, there's different things, activities that we do with our children and our families and standing dates. So it means change for everyone. And so oftentimes when there's change, we highlight the winners and we ignore the losers. I mean, you hear this in organizations all the time. Well, we're going to change something and let's look for people who love this. And then the people who love it get to talk on the stage. There's something very dangerous about only allowing happy talk, I call it. Happy talk is when everybody that loves the change can talk, but the people that have the loss from the change, their voice are silenced. And you might say, well, who cares? I mean, we're going to change no matter what, and who cares about the voices we've silenced? Jesus. Jesus cares. And, your organization will not thrive if you don't listen to the losers as well as the winners when it comes to change. Why? Because it's emotional, and their emotions affect that change. And so often we push out the losers and we pull in the winners. But if we're a clan culture, it's all of us. It's all of us. And so, there are endings, and the ending parts have grieving to it. Anybody that's changed a job, or your children have all gone to college and now you're an empty nester, that's change. There's the emotional side. You got to let go. I remember my son's last high school baseball game. I thought, even though he went on to play college, he didn't play very long into his freshman year. And but I remember the last high school game, there was loss for me because I love going to every game and I love cheering them on. And we talked about baseball. So when that ended, that was loss. And it was emotional. And there's a letting go process to change. And if we rush that, we hurt people. We hurt our organization. And then after the kind of ending, losing, and letting go, there's this neutral part where we don't know how we feel. We're still grieving, but we're starting to accept it. But yet there's kind of these vague emotions that go on in our life, and we don't know why we're always being pulled back to what hurts. And so it's important that we understand that. And then there's new beginning. Allow people to walk through those grieving processes of change. Churches change all the time. My beginning ministry days, we were kind of changing from hymnals. The church that I was raised in, that's all they sung were hymnals. And then we started doing courses, and now a lot of churches never do hymns. And it was a grieving process for those saints that grew up on hymns, and then to never do them anymore. And what we would say to some of those people, well, we got to change. We got to reach a younger crowd, and all that's true, and all that's necessary. But you also have to understand the emotions of that. I've never understood why a church wouldn't once in a while do a hymn. You can jazz it up and all those kind of things, but why wouldn't we? Those are songs that are filled with doctrine and emotional connections for people. I love the new as well. And so that's just a simple illustration, but life is about change. It's not the change that hurts us, it's the transition. And wise leaders understand that process. Hope you have a great week, and looking forward to seeing you online. We have posts this week, not a project. We're kind of moving towards your ministry plan. So God bless. Have a great week.